Welcome back, students. Welcome to the class. Today we will going to discuss the oxides of the halogens and the interhalogen compounds. Okay. Now look at the picture once more. Oxides of halogens. Halogens forms many oxide, but most of them are unstable. Fluorine combines with oxygen to form oxygen difluoride, that is OF2, and oxygen monofluoride, that is O2F2. So it means that fluorine does not give oxide, so it is exceptional case that oxygen does not form oxide with fluorine. In place of that, it gives you fluoride. Why? Because fluorine is what? Fluorine is more electronegative in nature. Okay, there are essentially oxygen fluoride because of the high electronegativity of the fluorine than oxygen. Only OF2 is thermally stable. Both are strong fluorinating agent. Means they want to put fluorine in substance, you can use them. O2 oxidizes plutonium to PuF6 and reaction is used in removing plutonium from the spent nuclear fuel. So what happens that when oxygen monofluoride, it reacts with plutonium, it will give you hexafluoroplutonium along with liberation of oxygen. The structure of OF2 is similar to that of H2O. While that of O2F2 is similar to that of H2O2, we have discussed that already in our study of group 16. In both the cases, oxygen is sp3 hybridized. The bond angle in OF2 is lower than that of H2O because the bond pair of OF2 is closer to fluorine atom, and hence bond pair repulsion is decreased in OF2. Therefore, the bond angle is little bit less. Now look at that. The bond angle of H2O is 104. Okay, there are two lone pair in oxygen. Look at that. And bond angle is what? Bond angle is 104.5 degrees Celsius. Okay. But in case of OF2, what happens? Here, the lone pair is closer to here because oxygen is more electronegative than hydrogen. So electron density is closer to oxygen atom. Okay. But in case of OF2, what happens? In case of OF2, the electron density is closer to fluorine atom. Closer to what? Fluorine atom. Why? Because fluorine is being what? Fluorine is being more electronegative. So in case of OF2, the bond angle is 103. I am repeating once more. In case of water, the bond pair is closer to oxygen atom due to more electronegativity of oxygen. But in case of OF2, the bond pair is closer to the fluorine. Why? Because fluorine is more electronegative. So therefore, in case of OF2, the bond angle is 103. Now look at the case in case of what? In case of HOF. Here the bond angle is 97.2. Why? The reason being that in case of OH bond, the electron density is closer to oxygen. But in case of fluorine, the electron density is closer to fluorine. Okay. And there is what? There is more. So you can say there is more lone pair bond pair repulsion here. So here the bond angle is what? 97.2. So remember that in HOF, the bond angle is 97.2. In water, the bond angle is 104.5. And in case of OF2, the bond angle is 103. Now, in case of chlorine, bromine and iodine, they forms oxide in which the oxidation state of the halogen ranges from +1 to +7. A combination of kinetic and thermodynamic factors lead to the decreasing order the stability of oxide from by the halogen. So oxides of iodine are more stable than oxides of chlorine, and they are more stable than oxides of bromine. Okay, I am repeating once more. Oxides of what? Oxides of iodine more stable than oxides of chlorine, more stable than oxides of bromine. So oxides of iodines are more stable and oxide of bromine are least stable. Now iodide oxygen bond is stable due to greater polarity of the bond. I am repeating once more. Iodine oxygen bond is stable due to greater polarity of the bond, while the stability of the chlorine oxygen bond is due to multiple bond formation involving d orbitals of chlorine atom. I am repeating once more. In case of iodine oxygen, if there is an iodine oxygen bond, the bond is highly polar. Why it is highly polar? Because electronegativity difference between iodine and oxygen is the maximum. So you can say that ionic character is largest. Ionic character is largest in case of iodine oxygen bond. Okay, while in case of chlorine oxygen bond, the lone pair, or you can say the electrons of the oxygen, can be easily donated to the 3d orbital of what? Because in case of oxygen, the electrons are present in what? The electrons are present in p orbitals, and in case of chlorine, there is a vacant d orbital. So 2p and 3d, their size is quite closer in comparison to bromine, where the size is 4d. So you can say that oxygen chlorine p pi d pi bonding is stronger than oxygen bromine p pi d pi bonding. So what can happen due to the multiple bond formation involving d orbital chlorine atom with oxygen? They are more stable, but bromine being lack both of these characters, the higher oxides of halogen tend to be more stable than the lower ones. Remember that. It means Cl2O7 is the most stable oxide. Okay, so stability increases with the increase in oxygen state. Okay, sure about that or not? Clearly understood? So what do you mean by here chlorine in +1, here chlorine in plus, here it is in +1, here it is +4, here it is +6, that is +7. So what are you observing? We are observing here that as the oxidation state increases, the stability of the oxide increases. Why? Being more covalent in nature. Strong oxidizing agent and tend to explode. Okay, Cl2O2 is used as bleaching agent for paper, pulp and textiles. ClO2 is better bleaching agent than the chlorine itself. Okay, the oxides of bromine, that is Br2, BrO2 and BrO3, are less stable than the other halogen oxides. I told you already that in case of oxides of iodine, there is greater ionic character. In case of oxides of chlorine, there is greater covalent character, and you have a better p pi d pi bonding. But bromine, it is called middle level anomaly. Anomaly means bromine is in the middle. It does not have enough ionic character as well as enough covalent character. It lacks both the characters. It is called middle row anomaly and exists only at low temperature. So oxides of bromine only exist at low temperature. They are very powerful oxidizing agent. The oxides of iodine are insoluble solids and decomposes on heating. I2O5 is very good oxidizing agent and used in the estimation of carbon monoxide. Okay, sure about that. Structure of various types of oxide: Cl2O, ClO2, Cl2O6, Cl2O7. That is chlorine monoxide, chlorine dioxide, chlorine hexoxide, and chlorine heptoxide. Now you look at the structures of the monoxide Cl2O and Br2O. Cl2O, when dissolved in water, it gives you hypochlorous acid. So it means that chlorine monoxide is what? Chlorine monoxide is pure anhydride because it gives you only one type of acids. Similarly, Br2O, when dissolved in water, give you hypobromous. If you look at that, the bond angle in both of them is nearly same. Okay, the bond angle are larger than the tetrahedral bond angle due to the participation of lone pair electrons in oxygen in pi dative bonding. Okay, are you sure about that? Because because it is sp3 hybridized, so bond angle should be 109, but here the bond angle is 111. Why? Because of the dative bonding, p pi bonding, there p pi d pi bonding. What is that? P pi d pi bonding. What is happening? The bond angle increases because there will be more repulsion between a pi bond and a sigma bond in comparison to sigma bond. Okay, if there are two sigma bonds only, the repulsion between them will be less. But if there is one pi bond and one sigma bond, then the repulsion between two will be more. Next is chlorine dioxide. Chlorine dioxide, when dissolved in water, it provides you two acids, that is chlorous acid and chloric acid. So it is a mixed anhydride because it gives you mixture of two acids. The bleaching power of ClO2 is 30 times more than that of chlorine. So it is used in bleaching agent for paper, pulp and textile. We already discussed that. Okay, ClO2 has a bent structure with ClO bond length 149 picometer and OClO bond angle is 117. So this angle is 117. Okay, so it contains a, look at this bond. This bond is a 3 electron bond. What is that? Is a 3 electron bond. Sure about that? Are you getting that or not? So that 3 electron bond will make repulsions between the bond pair very large and the bond angle becomes what? Bond angle becomes 117. What it becomes? 117. Next oxide is chlorine heptaoxide, which when dissolved in water will give you what? Chloric acid and perchloric acid. So it also shows what? It also shows that it is a mixed anhydride. Cl2O6, when heated, it gives you monomer ClO3. This is a structure, that is a dimer structure. This is what? Dimer structure of what? Dimer structure of what? Dimer structure of Cl2O6. Sure about that or not? Clearly understood now? So this is what? Dimer structure of what? Dimer structure of the. So when this Cl2O6 react with HF, it gives you FClO2 and HClO4. And when it react with N2O4, that is also a dimer of nitrogen. So you can say dimer of nitrogen dioxide react with dimer of ClO3 to give you what? ClO2 and an anion compound. Okay, that is NO2 plus ClO4. So it is a perchlorate salt and dioxide of chlorine. Both are being obtained from Cl2O6. Now these are oxides of chlorine, bromine and iodine. You can say that iodine when react with oxygen give you I2O5. Okay, enthalpy of formation is what? Minus 151. Look at the bond angle. The bond angle is 121. Okay, sure about that? So these are the structure of various types of oxofluorides of chlorine, bromine and iodine. I am repeating once more. Oxofluorides of chlorine, bromine and iodine. You have to memorize all of them. Sure. Next is very important. Cl2O7 is the only exothermic oxide of the chlorine. The remaining oxides are endothermic in nature. And here you see the bond angle, that is 118.56. When Cl2O7 is hydrolyzed, it will give you only one acid, that is perchloric acid. So it is also a pure anhydride. Why it is a pure anhydride? Because it gives only one type of acids. Are you sure about that? What is that? That is perchloric acid. What is that acid called as? Perchloric acid. I2O5, it is the only true oxides of iodine. I am repeating once more, it is the only true oxide of the iodine. I2O5 when react with carbon monoxide, it take out all the oxygen from the iodine, and what you have, pure iodine and 5 moles of CO2. Look at the bond angle here. Okay, sure about that or not? Now look at that next point. Chlorine is known to form the largest number of oxide, whereas iodine forms the least number of oxide. The halogen oxygen bonds are mainly covalent because of small difference in electronegativity. The polarity of the halogen oxygen bond get increased down the group. So you can say that iodine oxygen is the most polar bond. It is the most polar bond. Iodine oxides are most stable, followed by that of chlorine, and whereas bromine oxides are least stable. Iodine oxygen bond is stable because of greater polarity of the bond. The chlorine oxygen bond is stable because of multiple bond formation involving a d orbital. I have discussed with you already. Sure about that? Bromine being between the two lacks both of these characters, so it forms least stable oxide. It forms least stable oxides. The oxides of the higher oxygen state have been more stable than that of lower state. Iodine is also known to form I2O4 and I2O49, which are ionic and salt-like chloride. Like I2O4 has two structure of IO plus IO3 negative. I4O9 has structure of I3 plus and IO3 thrice negative. So I2O4 and I4O9 exist as an ionic solids or oxides of iodine have a ionic character. It can be proved by this point. Now let's talk about interhalogen compounds. What is that? Interhalogen compound. When two different halogen react with each other, compound forms are called interhalogen compound. As a name, interhalogen, among halogens, in between halogens. They can be assigned general composition as X, X dash, X, X dash 3, X, X 5 dash, X, X 7 dash. Okay, where X is the halogen of larger size and X dash smaller size, like CLF. So this is X dash, this is X. BRF3. So fluorine is X dash. So X dash is what? Which being more electronegative and smaller in size. And X will be what? X will be larger in size and less electronegative. So X is less electronegative and X dash is more electronegative. As the ratio between X and X dash increases, the number of atom per molecules also increases. So you can say that IF7 is formed, IBR7 is not formed. Why? Because there is enough size difference between iodine and fluorine, and not so in case of what? Not so in case of iodine and bromine. So iodine fluoride has maximum number of atom as the ratio of what? Radii between iodine and fluorine is maximum. That is why only iodine generate interhalogen with the maximum number of fluorine. Interhalogen compound can be prepared by direct combination. Chlorine, fluorine react to give you what? CLF. Chlorine and fluorine with excess of fluorine will give you CLF3. Iodine and chlorine will give you ICL. But if you take chlorine excess along with iodine, you have ICL3. Similarly, Br2 react with F2 in presence of water, it will give you BrF3. But if you treat bromine with no water and with excess of fluorine, it will give you BrF5. Properties. Some properties in the compounds are given in table. What is that? XX dash ClF is colorful gas, BrF pale brown gas, IF it is only detected spectroscopically, BrCl is a gas, ICl ruby solid, IBr black solid, ClF colorless gas, BrF3 yellow green liquid, IF3 yellow powder, ICl3 orange solid, IF7 colorless gas but becomes solid at 77 Kelvin, BrF5 colorless liquid, ClF5 colorless liquid, and IF7 is colorless gas. The shape is given. Okay, in case of all XX-3, they are all bent T shape. So it means that in that case the hybridization is sp3d. In all of them it is square planar x-5. So it means that here the hybridization is sp3d2. And in case of XX-7, it is pentagonal bipyramidal, so hybridization is sp3d3. So these are the hybridization you have to understand. Okay, clear that? Sure about that? So that you have to memorize. The heavier halogens are always present as central atom. These are essentially covalent solid because of small electronegative difference. They have even number of halogen atom and diamagnetic in nature. Okay, they are volatile solids at or liquid at 298 except ClF, BrF, ClF3, IF and IF7, which are gases. Their melting point and boiling point are higher than that the halogens because of the more polar bond. And remember that they are more reactive than the halogens also, except fluorine. Interhalogen compounds are more reactive than halogen except fluorine. The XX- bond in interhalogen compound is weaker than XS bond in halogen, except that of fluorine, due to mismatch in the size of the overlapping orbitals. The polarity of XX- bond provides attacking site on the molecule. All of these undergo hydrolysis giving halide ion derived from a smaller halogen atom, and hypohalide, halide, halate and perhalate when they dissolved in the heavier halogen. This is very important. All of them undergo hydrolysis, so smaller atom will give you HX dash, while the bigger atom will give you hypochlorous. So X dash 3 when dissolved in water will give you what? HX dash plus HXO2. Sure about that or not? Clearly understood? Memorize that. If you take an X dash 5 and dissolved in water, it will give you 5 moles of X dash plus HXO3. Similarly, if you take an X dash 7 and dissolved in water, you get 7 mole of HX dash plus 1 mole of HXO4. Okay, sure about that or not? So that you have to memorize. This is the perfect answer. This is what? This is X dash. This is X dash 3. this is x x dash 5, this is x x dash 7. So look at them, how in water they undergo hydrolysis. Okay, CLF undergo hydrolysis to give you HF, CLF3 and HF, BRF3 gives you HF, IF7 gives you HF. So in all the cases, the more electronegative atom will give you hydrogen halide, and the bigger atom will give you what? Oxo acids. Like here it will give you what? Bigger is chlorine, so give you hypochlorous. Bigger is chlorine, so give you chlorous. Bigger is bromine, give you bromic. Bigger is iodine, give you per. Now look at the structure of CLF3. CLF3 has structure sp3. Hybridization is sp3d. So it is a bent T structure. Why? Because the presence of these two lone pair are there now. So this, the bond angle should be 90, but here it is not 90, it is 87.5. Similarly here also, the bond, due to the presence of these lone pair, the bond angle is also near about 86. Sure about that or not? Now in case of BRF5, it is sp3d2 hybridized. sp3d2 hybridized. Okay, so, and this is one lone pair occupying the that is axial position. What is that? Axial position. And now the least, that is IF7, the hybridization is sp3d3. Okay, it is pentagonal bipyramidal. It is pentagonal bipyramidal in structure.